Sean Bauer, Kello TV here in Sioux Falls. Penny, how did everything just kind of go getting into town?
What do you say?
How did everything go getting into Sioux Falls?
Everything went well coming to Sioux Falls. We're really excited to be here. Still have a lot of great teams in this tournament. Just ready to play, man. It was a great transition into Sioux Falls yesterday.
Was there any doubt when you saw more and more teams kind of have to drop out? Was there any doubt that maybe this tournament wasn't going to happen?
I didn't think so. I thought that it was going to continue to stay in. I felt like she was going to be able to determine was going to be able to continue to get teams. I was hoping so, at least. Understandably, what happened with the teams that pulled out, but I really never had lost faith that it was not going to happen. I felt like it was going to happen because the energy of the tournament, they really wanted to have this thing happen, and I'm glad that it happened.
Penny, it's Mike Sadie in Memphis. Are you guys, if you're being honest, are you walking a little bit on pins and needles, though, because of what happened with Wichita State when they arrived and Sioux Falls just being in the crux of that COVID situation? Are you and the guys, are you talking to them? Are you walking on pins and needles right now about just trying to get the games in?
No, not really. You know, if you're in our hotel, you know we're in a bubble. We are. Obviously, the teams had just gotten in yesterday, and we were getting tested for the first time. But now that you see the system and how they have everyone kind of sectioned off in their own little space in their own area, everyone is wearing masks. So, no, the tournament has done a great job with how they've set it up. So we're not walking around on pins and needles. The one thing that I have told the guys is the guys that you know from the other teams, try not to have a lot of interaction with those guys like face-to-face. You know, maybe over the phone, but not face-to-face.
Coach, has there been a replacement game for the Ole Miss game that was postponed or canceled for December 5th?
Not yet. We're on there right now. We're on top of that, trying to get a team to replace the Ole Miss game so we can have a home game.
Hey, Penny, it's Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. Did all the players make the trip?
Yeah, everyone except for Ahmad Rand. Ahmad Rand is still home.
Can you say why he didn't make the trip?
He contact tracing. He didn't make the trip because of contact tracing.
Hey, Penny, Terry Davis, the Tri-State defender. How healthy is your team, man? Is anybody hurt or nagging injuries right now going into this first game of the season?
Well, Lester has a little nagging injury on his knee, and that's really about it. I don't think anybody else. Malcom Dandridge has, you know, still recovering from the knee injuries, but still is looking well. Nobody has anything major, which we're thankful for. Just minor things that they could play through.
Coach, what do you see out of St. Mary's on film, and how are you guys preparing for the Gales this season?
And they're very organized. You know, their coach has been there number of years. His culture is set. They play really hard. They play really smart. You make mistakes, they make you pay for those mistakes. And they're very meticulous in how they do their work. We have our work cut out for us playing against that offense, but we put a good game plan in and look forward to the challenge tomorrow.
Coach, do you have your starting lineup yet?
We do not. It's getting close. I said I was going to choose it tomorrow right before shoot around.
Hey, Penny, it's Marc Giannotto. Just to clarify on Lester, he's going to be available to play even though he's got the knee injury, or is it something that will keep him out tomorrow?
No, it's more tendonitis. Nothing's major. So he'll be ready to play tomorrow for sure. He'll get treatment today and be ready to play tomorrow.
Penny, do you guys consider yourselves fortunate when you look around and see a lot of teams are having to cancel openers and pausing activities for 3 or 4 weeks? How fortunate do you feel that you'll be able to bounce the ball and tip it up for real tomorrow?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. I was just talking to the guys in our little quarantine circle where we're kind of talking after practices about how fortunate we are to be here. We were just, 9 months ago canceling conference tournament and canceling the NCAA tournament and not knowing if we were going to have a season. So to be here right now, to be able to play a game, especially with tournaments around the country being canceled because of COVID situations, we're definitely fortunate to be here.
How excited are you to see your new team with so many new parts to get out there and play somebody else and see what you have?
Yeah, obviously I wish we would have had everyone playing, DeAndre and Ahmad. But I'm still excited to see the team, the freshmen getting older, the new pieces that we've added that are going to be playing tomorrow with Musa and Landers, and ready to just, play against someone else and see all the work that we put in, how that's going to pay off tomorrow. The true test is tomorrow.
Hey, Coach, it's Clayton Collier with Local 24. Just specifically with DeAndre, I know you were very hopeful that he was going to be able to be cleared in time. You were talking about hoping that they would do the right thing on Evansville's end. Can you describe the level of frustration with that not getting done yet?
Yeah, there is frustration. I know we went through this last year with Isaiah Stokes, but, I'm very, I just know that the system is going to work in the favor of the kids this year because of the COVID situation. But it is frustrating that it hasn't happened thus far. We put the waiver in later, so the NCAA is going through their due diligence. But like a lot of kids around the country who got help from the school that they were previously at, we did the same thing for Tyler Harris and Ryan Boyce because we're not trying to hold kids back. We know that it's a situation where we're in a pandemic, and that to let the kids play is something that they need right now because they're going through so much. So, it is a little more frustrating.
And, just for you and your players, this is probably one of the longer stretches that you've been without having basketball around you. Now that you've kind of been through it, can you describe just how tough it's been to not have maybe basketball as much of a traditional sense as you're used to because of everything going on with COVID?
Yeah, really weird. Empty arenas, as I can see around the country as far as when it was in the NBA, football stadiums, just looking at sports as a whole, where, tomorrow is going to be really weird. No fans in the bottom of the stands. It's going to almost be like practice, but it's a real game. So I'm just thankful to have the game, though. I'm ready to get started. We need games under our belt to see where we are positively and negatively, as far as what we worked on is what's going to work, what's not working, what lineups work well together, what guys are ready to play right now, what guys aren't. So, I'm anxious for tomorrow.
Coach, from a basketball standpoint, can you talk about the Sanford Pentagon and how it's shaped out to be a shooter's gym, not a shooter's gym? How is the sight lines in the Pentagon there?
It's small. So I think the small gyms are going to be shooter's gyms because it's not much space. Everything's kind of compact. It's a nice gym, but it's compact and enough where the shooters can kind of get a good eye on the rim. And it's not like the regular arenas where it's like open space and you look into the backboard and you're looking way out into the crowd. So it's a good look for the shooters for sure.
Penny, this is Danielle Lerner with the Daily Memphian here. With things changing so rapidly and so frequently as far as the teams in this field, how have you and your staff approached preparing for any games beyond the St. Mary's game, if you have?
Yeah, well, we've looked at pretty much every team in this conference, especially our side. Teams have been changing up. Western Kentucky was the last team to get in on this side for sure, and Northern Iowa. So you're looking at Ohio State for about a couple weeks, and then Ohio State goes out, and then you replace them, and then that team goes out. So, St. Mary's comes in, and then you got to look at St. Mary's, and then you have a couple other teams pull out, and they move West Virginia to the other side. Now you got to look at Northern Iowa and Western Kentucky. So we've been watching a ton of games, doing our due diligence. We're not looking past the first one, but because the games are 3 days in a row, you have to look at all the teams. And because we watched 6 games on St. Mary's and have a pretty good game plan, now it's time to go to the next 2 teams for sure.
Coach, can you talk about the benefit of playing these 3 games in 3 days, prepare you for the NCAA tournament, also the American tournament, and just overall the overall season?
Well, it helps you because you're playing good teams. Like St. Mary's is a veteran team, well-coached, teams that are, when you get to the NCAA tournament, they're upsetting the top teams, these type of teams. And, you can't take them lightly, and you got to be on your toes. And there are no favorites right now. Everybody's coming in for the first time, seeing where they are. So to have 3 good games early in the season without any exhibition, without any of those type of games, having an easier schedule early and then kind of working your way into the season, it's going to be good for us because that will bode well for us later down the line.
Penny, what are the hopes from this tournament? Obviously, when you set it up months ago, there was many more marquee names allowing you to boost your resume with some wins early on. A lot of those teams are now not in the tournament, but you are playing. So what's the hopes and expectations over the next 3 days with the field in Sioux Falls?
Well, like I said, you respect the teams that are here. And it's hard to win on this level. And everybody here can play. Everybody's well coached. So every college game is going to be a tough college game. Obviously, you have the names, but that doesn't mean that the other teams' RPIs aren't as high, or it's just the name. You start thinking about Northern Iowa, and you start thinking about Western Kentucky, and you start thinking about St. Mary's, and you get lost because it's not Ohio State, it's not West Virginia, and you can't do that. You have to stay locked.
Hey, Coach, I believe this is the first time we're talking to you since Jermaine came on with the staff. Can you tell us a little bit about what he brings to the table, why you're excited to have him fill that role for you this year?
Yeah, he's just another guy that's really good with the kids, very positive, can do work on the court, can really recruit, and then it keeps the chemistry where it is right now. We have a really good chemistry going with Coach, myself, Coach Topper, and Coach Medlock, and he fits right into that because he's going to come in and do exactly what we need on any level, and he's great with the kids. So that's a really good deal that we need for this year for sure.
Folks, we'll do 2 more questions for Coach Hardaway.
Is everything good with Malcom? Obviously, he wasn't at the Virtual Madness. I think he got hit up with some contact tracing. I know he's on the trip. He's good to go?
Yeah, he's good to go. Malcolm's looking good. He's anxious for tomorrow. All of the freshmen are really ready and anxious because they know last year that it was new for them, and now that they understand what's going on, they're ready. But Malcom is really ready. He's looking really good.
And what are the biggest things you're going to be looking for tomorrow just in the first game?
Well, I'm going to be looking to see if the guys have really transitioned and carried over what we've been teaching. We've been teaching a lot on both sides of the basketball and the communication side of the basketball. And we want to see that, the fruits of our labor are paying off. Like, we're putting in all this work. What are we going to take to a real game now? We've been doing it in practice. Let's see if we're going to take it to the floor to play against another team. And we're going to be monitoring to see how guys communicate, what the guys' energy, what their energy are, and, if they're listening to us from what we've been working on all this time. And it's also with the game plan. We need to know who's more attentive, or is everybody on the same page out there?